Okay, just waiting for the stream to load. Hi Pisces, welcome to your July predictions reading. Unfortunately, I didn't get to do yours yesterday, but I feel very grateful that I had the time today to give you your monthly predictions. This is intended for Pisces placements, so Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. I highly recommend you use your discernment to figure out whether these messages are helpful. You may have messages in your other signs as well, in other aspects of your chart. So we're looking at the month of July. We've got a fair amount of info to cover. I do have everything typed out in the description box if you want to know more about this reading and what we do. But before I open your reading, I'm going to go ahead and set my intentions. So I highly recommend that you set your intentions as well. Consider signs of confirmation you may also need to hear or see in order to claim this reading. I feel like I need to pre-record that and just add it into the start of these videos because it starts to feel a little bit like a broken record. But let's get into it. Spirit, please tune me into Pisces energy. Please help me offer Pisces the most clear, honest messages about their reading. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, so let's start by getting your overall theme for the month of July with the Telezma Tarot deck. Spirit, what can Pisces expect in July? Whoops. Hi, Alex. Welcome. Okay, we have the Princess of Cups coming out. At the back of the deck is the Queen of Wands. How does this feel? I might get your other cards out first. Oh no, we're not doing that. I'm confusing your reading with the last reading that I did. It's interesting because this feels good in your energy, but it also feels very protective. So July could have you wanting to just be very careful about how you extend your energy, about your expectations of yourself and others, because it feels like you're being pulled into different directions. It feels like you're spread very thin and you're very prone to burnout in July, and it makes you just want to avoid everything with this Queen of Wands. You could be feeling highly sensitive, but it's not like an emotional sensitive, it's energy. Your energy may be a little all over the place. Certain people may really boost your energy, but it could feel very chaotic. And then other people may just drain your energy very quickly. And it could be the same person. One day they boost your energy, next day they drain your energy. So there's a lot of like temperamental energy fluctuations for you in July. Now, this does have an impact on your self-esteem. As the month progresses, you start to take this personally, and it starts to feel like you're not able to finish things or you're not able to stay on track, and it starts to impact your self-esteem, your self-confidence. And that's where the sensitivity takes a new level, because if people are calling you out for it, you're not ready to hear it. And you already know, like you're already all over it mentally, you know that you're all over the place. So it just feels like you're sensitive, your energy is, and you've got to be a little bit careful about what you sign up for, about what you expect of yourself, and also about what you choose to do. July may feel like a month that's just begging for you to slow down and to rest and to look after yourself, because it doesn't feel like you're making progress, but that's because it just feels like there's something else going on with you, you know, and you can't put your finger on it. This may happen a lot. You may have moments where you just feel like, ugh, it's not my week. I just need to keep it close and just do what I'm comfortable doing. I can't push myself too much. So with the Princess of Cups here, your overall theme for the month of July is this feeling of having to communicate that and challenging yourself to be able to consistently communicate that, because with this Princess of Cups here, it's not about once, it's about throughout the month of July, you having to tell people how you feel, communicate where you're coming from, and not sugarcoat it. I think if you've watched me read quite a bit, this is the No More Mr. Nice Guy card. And it's very powerful in your sign, Pisces, because it means you're taking yourself seriously. Your emotions are, I don't want to say that they're important, but you don't want people to take advantage of you when you're not feeling great. And so there's only so far you can kind of joke along before you just need your space. You need to, and it's not even about cooling down, it's about just not being overwhelmed. So to me, this feels like you are taking on a lot of other people's energy, and the empathetic side of your sign is very susceptible towards feeling deeply. So if you can just cut it in the bud and distance yourself and protect yourself, then you don't have to take it all on board. But there just seems to be a lot happening around you, and you're having to stand up for yourself and go, no, actually, I can't do that. Well, look, I'm not available on the weekend. I would like to do that, but I don't like the way you're talking to me. So it's not always a bad conversation. It's just about making sure that people aren't trying to either take you for granted or treat you like a bit of a pushover, or it's almost like when people are passive aggressive as well, or when they pretend to be nice, but they're actually saying mean things. That's what this card reversed is realizing, well, hey, that's not a nice thing for you to do, actually. That's not a genuine, sincere gesture. And it's you, whether you call it out or not, it's you seeing it and going, I don't want that around me. I'm going to figure out how to get myself away from that type of energy. So let's have a look at those 3 key areas of your life now. We'll start with your love life. Spirit, for my Pisces in July, what can they expect in love? What can Pisces expect in love, Spirit? Okay. For love, we have the 8th house. Oh my gosh. A lot of passion. I'm hearing urges. Okay. What is going on in their life in general? Scorpio just tried to come out, but we've got 7. And what is happening for Pisces finances in July? We have 12th house. So that's your energy, 12th house. At the back of the deck is Pluto reversed. So there is Scorpio energy there. But I do think with this being at the back of the deck, it's this contribution of trying to shed light and seeing between the veil. Like, you guys are seeing subtleties. You're noticing subtle behavior. You're noticing this. Oh my gosh, Alex, that's crazy. Definitely Scorpio energy and 8th house energy here. You're noticing things like between the veil, behind the scenes, and happening like in a subtle way. It's not obvious. It's not like, and it might be to the point where people around you are saying, you know, you're reading into it too much. It depends on whether you share this with other people, because this energy is quite secretive. So you might not want to share this with other people, but you're feeling things and you're seeing things at a high level of sensitivity. You're picking up on things that other people are either able to ignore or that they don't think that you can see. Now, with this Pluto energy at the back of the deck, it also makes me think that July is a month where you're shedding light on things that want to be hidden, on things that people could get quite protective over, passionate about, but also secretive towards. And so you're having to figure out what to do with this. Like, people could be telling you things that they don't want you to tell other people, or you could be finding out about things that nobody expected or wanted you to know in the first place. the way that this is impacting your energy is you are just trying to focus on yourself. Like, I really feel like you're trying to make some progress in July, and you're having to decide, well, how much do I give to this? Whether you find out because you want to or because you don't want to, you're taking on way too much. And you have something here that you're trying to work towards with 7 in your lifestyle, but it's like everything else, it's not so much that it's a distraction, but everything else is like pulling at your energy, and other people are kind of, it's not even like they're provoking you, but it's this emotional pull to invest in their narratives. And so you're kind of being called into like into the relationships that could feel like it's a little codependent, like they need so much from you, or like they expect a lot from you, and you're saying, I just need to focus on myself. I don't have a lot of energy to give this month, and I can't be giving this much to you. So that makes sense with the Queen of Wands reversed as well. Now, if we look at love specifically, this 8th house energy is very passionate. It has to do with desires. It has to do with new beginnings, endings. It specifically talks about birth and death and even sex. So there is a lot of passion here in your love life. This could feel like something that's an outlet for you, but it can also start to feel like a little bit of an addiction. Does that make sense? Like, it feels so good, it hurts sometimes. So there could be someone in love that you're dealing with who just feels like they have a hold over you, and they know how to kind of keep you hooked. Now, I don't know if this is a bad thing. We'll see what Tarot has to say. It could just be you really enjoying your love life in July, enjoying a connection, enjoying the transformation of a connection, while also recognizing some red flags of maybe how quickly things are moving, or how invested you are. You could also feel like you're just falling even more, or you're falling for someone you shouldn't. So there is this feeling here of, you know, there's something there that makes it feel scary, or that if you told someone else, they'd go, what? Why are you doing this? But in your energy, the 8th house is very comfortable. The 8th house is hardly as deep as you can go, if that makes sense. Like, you're someone who takes that and turns it into whatever you want. So you can get lost in it, you can become addicted to it, but you know what you're working with when you get into it. I think a lot of people underestimate Pisces as being naive, when really you're the oldest sign in the zodiac. It's just about going through experiences that awaken that knowledge in your spirit. So it's going to be interesting to see what Tarot has to say about your love life specifically. With life, I did talk about this. The number 7 feels like you're on some sort of path. You're making progress in your lifestyle, and you're trying to keep pushing through whatever progress and subsequent challenges arise in order to keep making progress. The 7 to me is a feeling of stamina in your lifestyle, and having to really be almost focused and trying not to get too distracted. So for your lifestyle, this is where we see your platonic connections, your friendships, your colleagues. This is also where we see family, your free time, and the things that you do that interest you. So this is that energy of, I'm trying to stay focused. I don't want to get too distracted. I'm also trying to be very intentional with my time in July. And it feels like you're trying to be intentional so that you're not being too strict with the 7, but you know that you can't get too distracted. You can't lose traction. You have to kind of make time for the things that you want to grow, as well as for the things that you just want to do because it's fun, because you don't want to take July too seriously. So let's see what Tarot has to say about that too. I do feel some important things happening in July with your loved ones. Maybe the chance to connect with them and to celebrate something or someone in July, but we'll see what tarot says. When it comes to your finances, this is also where we see your career, your job, any expenses and your spending habits. The 12th house is talking about some sort of culmination. There's something happening with your money that is reaching a turning point where we have the chance to look at what we're doing with our money and maybe consider, with the 12th house, changing something by putting an end to it once and for all. And this ending with the 12th house here, like there's so many different cards that could talk about an ending, including Pluto and the 8th house. The 12th house talks about endings in a very reflective way. These are the types of endings that we have to emotionally process because so much has happened and we may have been really emotionally attached to this situation. So ending it almost doesn't feel natural. It feels like it goes against our intuition. But the truth is, you have an attachment here and your intuition is telling you you need to end this. It's not right for your journey moving forward. In order to keep working on this in your lifestyle, your finances need to have a very clear, definitive ending. And you need to stop doing this and you need to think about what you can do instead. The 12th house does talk about this attachment as almost like an addiction as well. It's not too bad, like Neptune's really where we see that addictive energy, but the 12th house can blur the lines between what our intuition is telling us, what our heart is telling us, and what our habits have made us attached to, because we've put so much time, meaning, effort, thought, hardship, like into that. So it's hard to just end it. It doesn't feel right, but it may be the logical thing to do. So let's see what tarot says about that too. We're going to start with your love life over here and get some specific predictions with tarot now. Spirit, when it comes to Pisces love life in July, what can Pisces expect with their love life in July, Spirit? What can Pisces expect? Whoa. Okay. Lots of water, which I really think is a good thing. It depends on how you see your emotions. I just want to say, all of this water at the back of the decks, well, actually this is fire, so that's not really, but the Queen of Wands is a very intuitive energy, an alchemist of energy. So I think that overall in July, just really making sure that you're validating your feelings, because you know how you feel, no one else can. And if people aren't taking you seriously, don't stand for that. You don't need to waste energy trying to prove that you're right, trying to prove that your feelings are valid. It may get to that point depending on who's around you. If you've got people who are really good at challenging you, who come across as very prideful and who just want to be right, it could be a very exhausting battle trying to prove that your feelings are subjectively valid, you know? They may just want to argue for the sake of arguing. But when we're talking about love, we have the the King of Pentacles coming out first. What else can you tell us, Spirit? We have the Empress about Pisces love life in July. And we have the Chariot reversed. At the back of the deck is the Five of Pentacles reversed. I'm going to put that down. And I just need to hold my Amazonite because the words aren't coming. So I just think that maybe as I'm reading, I'm realizing the best thing that I can do is just say it how it is. I shouldn't be reading between the lines, which is what I think your July experience is like as well. Try not to read between the lines too much. Just focus on you, your energy, your intuition is picking up on so much subtlety, and you may be assuming things that haven't even happened yet because you're connected to a feeling and to someone else's feeling, but they haven't acted on it yet. And we know that feelings do change. So instead of assuming when you are standing up for yourself or when you're focused on what you need to do to protect yourself and to stay on track, make sure that you don't assume the worst about people. Just give them July to figure themselves out, and you just keep focusing on protecting your peace. Because I feel like reading between the lines is going to take more than it gives to you. It drains you, and it's confusing me. So I can imagine that that's also another layer that you may feel in July. With the Five of Pentacles here, I'm also hearing don't overthink it. So if you need clarification, ask for it. Once you receive clarification, don't overthink it. You know what I mean? Trust the information you have. Stay true to your intuitive feelings, and also just stay focused on what you can control when things just feel like anything could happen. I believe that this Five of Pentacles in your love life is highlighting a positive change of trying to make practical changes to make sure that you're not feeling left out, feeling like you're falling behind, or feeling like a relationship is neglected, whether your person feels neglected or you do. This Five of Pentacles is about trying to make more effort in your love life so that you don't have regrets about not spending enough time on this area in your life. So this feels very specific, and it will either involve a very specific person or it will involve you achieving a very specific need. And with this card here, it could be a sexual need. But the overall feeling here is, I'm not going to be the reason why this doesn't get better. I'm going to do what I can to try to make it better. And with the King of Pentacles here, you guys may be dealing with an earth sign, Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus. But the overall energy that this King of Pentacles brings is one of direction, responsibility, commitment, and planning. Your love life has this energy of stepping up, making a commitment, and acting on it, working on it, evaluating it, making sure that, again, you're responsible. So if this isn't resonating for you, then this is the energy of the person that you're dealing with in love. But for most of you, when I do these readings, I'm really channeling your energy. So if you want to know more about your lover, I highly recommend cross-watching their sign, if you know their sign. I do think with this earth energy right next to the King of Pentacles, we see Taurus and Venus in the Empress. This is a very empathetic, grounded, practical, but also creative energy. The Empress is just naturally grounded because they're so focused on trying to create and on following that flow. So your love life just feels like something that once you get your head straight, once you make that commitment to yourself and to whoever is important here, everything just feels like it flows naturally. It feels like it falls into place, but it's also because your intentions are clear. And that's where we see that focus here in your love life as well. Now, this is always a warning card about fertility. So you're definitely very fertile in July. I don't know if you're trying or not, but just be aware of that. Outside of pregnancy and fertility, this card literally is just trying to create more success in your love life, more experiences, more connection through action, through meaningful creation. And so I do think that July is a wonderful time to strengthen a relationship, to build that bond or to make it even stronger, and to also feel good within yourself about the direction that your love life is headed in. At the very least, for my single Pringles who aren't dealing with anybody, this is staying connected to who you are, what you want, and gratifying your own needs, if you know what I mean. Making sure that you don't feel like you're standing in the way of your own needs. So making sure that you feel beautiful, handsome, attractive, loved, catered to, and also just capable of having what you want if you try. And so there could be a boost to your physical appearance in July that helps you really take on this energy of self-love and self-growth in love. With the Chariot at the back of the deck, the only thing I'm seeing that may hinder your approach to this is fear. And we saw that with the 8th house, we saw that with Pluto. When the Chariot is reversed, there are fears that are driving our motivations and our desires. We're still likely to try to do something about it, but the motivation is more fearful. When the Chariot is upright, we can balance our fears with our desires, but it just feels like most of this is happening because either you're afraid of losing someone, or you're afraid of not getting to try something, or you're afraid of not having a certain chance or an opportunity, or you're afraid that if you don't do something, it's just not going to happen. So you're taking this responsibility to do something out of fear. So that's what I'm seeing with your love life. Thank you, Alex, for that feedback. Oh, wow. I'm glad that that resonated. Let us have a look at your lifestyle now with this 7 energy. So 7 has this feeling of progression. It has this feeling of focus. And it also feels like you're trying to balance your lifestyle in July, but you just don't want to lose traction. So you're trying to be very careful about who you spend time with, about how many people you plan to see, and you're also maybe trying to pull off some sort of plan in July. Like July could be the month where things start to feel like they're coming together. Sometimes 7 makes us feel like we're waiting for something outside of our control to fall into place so that we can react. So let's see what's happening here. Spirit, what is going on for Pisces in their lifestyle? We have the Page of Cups reversed again, same card. What is happening in their lifestyle? We have the 2 of Swords reversed. What can you tell Pisces? Okay. And we also have the High Priestess. The back of this deck is the 10 of Cups. So this is strong Pisces energy, the 10 of Cups, just because although by the time you get to the end of a suit, you've got all the elements there, all the signs there, the 10 of Cups for me is this strong feeling of the reward of how much effort and work and reflecting and communicating relationships take. And so while some of that could be perceived as like the happy ending card or the happy family card, the 10 of Cups to me is like a chapter in your life where you feel like the relationships that you're creating are strong and they're going to be around for a long time because of how you treat one another, the culture that you have with each other, and because of the bond that you have, the emotional connection that you have. Doesn't mean that, you know, challenges won't come out, but it just means that you know that your relationships are going to overcome that. And so it does make me feel like there's a moment in July that has that feeling to it, where you're able to look around the room and realize that the people around you are there for you. They're supporting you, and they're also going to be a part of your future. This could be about celebrating a birthday or having some sort of gathering where a lot of your loved ones are together, maybe not all of them, but a lot of them, and just having like a moment where you could almost call it like a Kodak moment, a picture perfect core memory that you know you're going to reflect on for years to come. However, as a bottom deck energy, when it comes to your lifestyle, it also means that your goals, your motivations, and the things that you're trying to focus on are a part of the bigger picture. You may feel like your energy is pulled in so many different directions because you could have so many different people wanting to see you in July. You could have so many different family members wanting to see you, so many different friends wanting time with you. And your beautiful big heart is trying to figure out how to make it work in July. So with the Page of Cups reversed, this does cause you to feel quite serious. Like you're really, not only are you taking yourself seriously, but you're trying to take the situation seriously. This feels like, again, you having emotional boundaries and being more aware of how people make you feel when you spend time with them. You don't have time for everybody, and you're quite sensitive to other people, their emotions, and what's happening with them. So you're going to try to show support, but you're also going to feel like you're out of your element a little bit with this Page of Cups reversed. Someone could be going through something and you're like, I don't know what to say or how to say it. So it does feel like you're feeling more than what you can express. And when it comes to your lifestyle, your family, your friends, your free time, and your interests, there is a numbing feeling here, as though a lot of your free time is just you trying not to feel, just getting caught up in, I'm even hearing like brain rot activities, but just trying not to feel too much because there's a lot happening around you. So you don't want to take on too much. You don't want to take things too seriously. You don't want to know too much or feel too much. And that's why I think we have these two cards here. Both are twos, so the number 2 could be significant, but technically this is your energy with the High Priestess. And tying it back in with your overall energy in your life in July, it feels like a lot of your free time is you just trying not to think too much, trying not to care too much, trying not to read between the lines too much, trying not to make things too complicated, because you don't even have to try. You just naturally feel more than you want to. You naturally care more than you want to. And you'll even have moments where you ask someone how they are and you regret it. You're like, why did I have to open that can of worms? Like, I'm actually really tired and oversensitive, overstimulated. I really didn't need to know this person's life story right now. And so I do think with the High Priestess reversed in your lifestyle, you might be doing things that feel very opposite to your nature, but you're protecting your peace, you're protecting your feelings, you're protecting your intuition, your empathy, and you're trying not to get too attached to things that you can't control, especially with this. These two cards both talk about the unknown. And this card, any of the twos really, can be about making decisions. In order to stay connected to what you want, what you know, you're having to just focus on what you know and make decisions based off of the very limited facts, even though your instincts and your intuition are telling you other things. You're having to go, I just need to focus on this. I need to focus on reality, on the bare facts, because the challenge here is to not get too carried away with, I'm hearing hearsay, so I don't know if there's like a lawyer or something, but not to get too carried away with the hypotheticals, with the unknown, and with what hasn't actually happened. Now, I do think that this is other people as well, like just you're picking up on other people's energies. Sorry about that. I have no idea what's going on. There could be someone walking past the house that the dogs are barking at. But it just feels like you're taking on a lot of other people's energy. So your lifestyle, you're keeping it close, you're staying locked in, you're trying not to feel too much, but you are naturally feeling too much. So you're trying to just numb your sensitivities, and you're trying to just focus on who is important. You're telling them you're important. Sorry, I haven't seen you this month. I love you. I miss you. You mean so much to me, but I just need to focus on this. And this energy does feel very locked in. It feels very like this is what I need to do. So let's close your reading now by looking at your finances with your 12th house energy. Spirit, what can you tell us about Pisces finances in July? What is happening for Pisces? Okay. So we have the Devil card. We also have the Queen of Cups. And we have the Star. At the back of this deck is the Three of Cups upright. Okay, how do we feel about this energy? For finances, this is concerning. I'm just going to call it as I see it. The Devil, you're highly likely to develop spending habits that are impulsive and instantly gratifying, and to do things that don't really make sense. Does that make sense? Like, the way that I see the Devil in finances is you just want that temporary high, that temporary experience, that temporary thrill. But this is a case of, industries that get to charge whatever they want because they're selling you the experience. And so after that experience and the dopamine from that experience wears off, you're like, oh my God, that cost me $600. Why did I do that? Now, this can also indicate that you feel like you're trapped by your finances, like you're a bit of a slave to money in July, and that there is a very real dynamic in which money has control over you in July, instead of you feeling like you have control over money. And so you've got to be careful with the Devil upright of feeling like things are just snowballing. One impulsive purchase turns into you feeling like you no longer have control and like money's just controlling you. Now, if you're not doing this for yourself, you could also be doing this for others. You could be trying to help other people out of tough spots, but you're really just enabling their addictions or their habits instead of being a helpful part of the process. So then you become a part of the problem, for lack of a better word. So we got to be very careful in July of these things snowballing to the point where we feel like we're a slave to money and like money has a lot of control over us. If this is how you feel already, I really think that July is about naming and shaming this energy, calling it out for what it is and saying, oh my God, like I clearly need to stop buying so much coffee on my way to work. Why is this such a impulse? Like it's now an addiction. Holy. And just naming and shaming it helps you work with it in a more realistic way. This energy is very distorted together. The 12th house and the Devil is like a feeling of being trapped in another side of reality. And it's too easy to turn a blind eye and to pretend like these problems aren't real because you're just caught up in the feeling of it all instead of paying attention to the reality. And technically speaking, like this is it's a silly conversation to have with a Pisces because you know already, like you're all over this, you're fully aware of this. A Pisces wouldn't go to a financial advisor without already knowing this. Like it would be you pretending you didn't know, but also just not wanting to know all the details. You would have just been like, oh, don't tell me all the numbers, just tell me what I can do to fix this. So with the Devil card and the Queen of Cups here, I do feel like when it comes to money, it's really important that you do find a way to get back into control of your money so that you don't spend too much from the goodness of your heart. Is that the best way that I can say this, Spirit? Because what I'm seeing over here helps explain why we got here. We know that there's an ending in your finances. And that's why I think the devil is here, because you're confronting the devil of your money and you're going, oh my gosh, wow, I didn't realize it was this bad. But with this beautiful energy, it's important that you just take it one step at a time with the Star card reversed. There's no point in victim blaming here or making yourself feel worse than you need to. The whole point of knowing this isn't about feeling like shit, for lack of a better word, but it's actually about feeling like you have a way forward. And so you may need some emotional support around this, in all honesty, because I'm almost seeing that your money is very heavily connected to your love for others, to your love for the people around you, like to your love for things and people. It just feels like what you're spending and what you want to make is about them. It's about staying true to your heart, and it's about trying to have these experiences for them. So it almost feels like you're hiding this, because the 12th house is about secrets as well. And the intentions are, can I say, good, but it's also a little bit silly. Like if we were sitting down together, I'd be like, Pisces, please don't do this. We know how much you love us. You don't need to go broke for us. You don't need to take out an unreasonable loan for us. You don't need to keep working that horrible job for us. You don't need to put up with those crazy work hours for us, or whatever it is. You don't need to extort yourself and be extorted for us. So I do think that finances are a tricky subject, because you will know what this is when it happens and as it's happening, but how do you get through this is the question, because the why is so compelling. You're really trying to make something happen here out of the goodness of your heart. And it feels like if you can just get through this, it's going to be better. Like it's not going to be forever. But July is a tricky month where you're really dancing with the devil when it comes to money. So with the Star card here, I would highly recommend that you get some advice on a more specific scale to what you're dealing with, and make sure that there's comfort in that. It's not just a process of criticism. Like that's not going to be helpful. You don't need someone to tell you what you already know. You need someone to inspire you with ideas that you don't already have. So Google, AI chatbots might be a good way to start this. And then just taking it from there, because I can see that your beautiful big heart is in the right place, but you're in a very dangerous area where your money is not as available as you think it is. It's in a different reality than what your beautiful big heart is trying to create. So yeah, definitely get specific advice from the right places to help here. Is there anything else you can tell them about their money, Spirit? Anything else? Yeah, look, it may be time to really reconsider ways that you're making money and how you're underutilizing your skills. Either this is about expanding on knowledge that you already have, a degree or a certificate or a job that you already have, or it's about changing altogether and just being more resourceful with your time, so that you're not wasting time working more than what you're getting paid for. Especially if this is a case of you not getting paid very well in the first place, and then being asked to do extra hours, and the overtime isn't even worth it after tax gets taken out. Like that's what it feels like. So I'm going to leave your reading there. I hope that was helpful, Pisces. Look after your beautiful selves. In July, I wish you peace, prosperity, abundance, happiness, health, wealth, success, and joy. And until we meet again, I hope that you feel confident about your journey ahead and informed about what you can do to make the most out of your experiences. Thank you so much for all of your time, your energy, and your support. Until we see each other again or connect again. Bye.